This week on the RV Podcast,
what effect are tariffs having on the RV industry? In our conversation of the week, we're going to hear straight talk from an industry straight shooter.
with no warning, a Camping World outlet in Michigan has abruptly shut down, causing massive confusion to the blindsided employees and those whose RVs were awaiting service.
When do you clean your RV? Before you leave the campground or after you arrive home? We'll share some insight from 600 real RVers who answered the question on our social media platform.
All this, plus the RV news of the week and your questions, coming up in episode 563 of the RV Podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland, and this is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Mike.
We are coming to you from our brand new Brinkley Z3100 fifth wheel. And we realize we caught some of you by surprise to find us in this in our Saturday video that we released on YouTube. And that's kind of our fault. We thought we had talked it over a whole lot, and we had, but we had done so in live streams with our rvcommunity.com, and we realized not all of you are members of that community. So by way of explanation, besides the Saturday video, this came about really quick. We got it, this all happened within about 3 weeks.
Yes, it happened really quickly, and we got rid of our embassy.
Our embassy, Cape Cod.
Yes, that's gone. And also the Montana.
We traded in the Montana with the dealer that we used to buy this RV. Why did we get rid of the Cape Cod, many of you were asking? Well, a couple of reasons, a lot of them some personal, but most nothing to do with the rig. The rig was fine. It was a great rig, and we highly recommend Embassy. We're impressed with them.
But the biggest reason was Bo.
Our dog.
He just couldn't adjust to it. We were on several trips, and every trip he got worse with his behavior.
It's harder. Bo is used to certain things. He's 10 years old. He stood the entire time trying to squeeze in between our two seats. He became car sick. And not that he didn't throw up or anything in there, whoever buys that Cape Cod, but it set him back. And so if you have a dog, you understand. If you don't have a dog, you think we're nuts. That's okay. We are a little nuts. But that was a big reason. And the other reason is we really wanted to take our grandkids with us, but we couldn't.
Yeah, we had asked for 2 seat belts, and we thought those would be coming relatively soon, and I don't know when they'll be ready to put in there.
Yeah, it turns out to put seatbelts in the lounge chairs that we have, they needed to do a pull test. We thought that would be done. It wasn't done, and they didn't have the certification, and so we weren't able to use it like we wanted to. And a lot of people have said, I bet they got rid of it because of the toilet, because we had that composting toilet. I got to admit, that wasn't my favorite thing. There are some things not meant to be seen, and you see those things with a composting toilet. But that wasn't a real major.
No, that wasn't a major.
Maybe a little one. But we have a great relationship with Embassy RV in Cape Cod. They bought it back at a slight loss for us, but not bad. And because we had used it, slept in it 4 times, so we had taken it on a trip to Florida and back. So it was very fair. The Montana, we traded that in. We've had it. We're going on 3 years. And we decided that we really wanted this Brinkley. We toured the Brinkley factory about not quite a year ago. And we just watched the way they build these things. We love the design, lots of user-centric things. And this is, again, personal. You may not like a fifth wheel. You may not like a Brinkley. We did, We're buying it for us, not you. I mean, we hope you like it, but it's bought for us. And we realized that if we wanted one, we could make it happen by having the Cape Cod bought back and by trading in the Brinkley. And so we traded in with the dealer. We got no special break. We have no relationship with Brinkley, none. And we had no relationship with this dealer that we used. We picked a dealer that had this one in stock. And because we could get it relatively soon, we could take it on the trip that we're on now. We're going to be on the road for about almost 2 months. And a little over a month of that is just started up here where we are coming to you from now, Bemidji, Minnesota, and we are in the midst of a 34-day trip. It just started this past weekend, and this trip is going to be pretty cool. It's a fantasy RV tour that will follow the Mississippi River on the Great River Road from its source up here in northern Minnesota, about 2,500 miles plus, down to where it empties in the Gulf of Mexico. And this is a great trip.
And we took our time getting here. We traveled across the Upper Peninsula through Wisconsin and Minnesota. And I have to say, the weather has been horrible. Unless you like rain and being like 40 and 46. If you like that,
as we record this today, the sun is mostly shining for the first time in many days. The first couple of days of this trip brought abnormally cold weather. And so, like Jen said, so much rain. By way of reference, a year ago, up here on the same trip, Fantasy RV does this tour every year up here. A year ago, same time, it was 95 degrees. This morning, it was 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So, but the skies are clearing, the sun's shining, and today temperatures in the 60s. And as we set out the day after we record this, we're heading off towards our next stop, which will be about 250 miles south of here in Minneapolis. It's supposed to be in the 70s and get nothing but warmer after that. And we're going to have that beautiful Indian summer warm weather that we pictured when we booked this trip, and that's coming now. So the bad weather hopefully is gone.
Now, before we get to the news for this week, we need to share with you one of the greatest blessings we've had in our RV life, and that is our new RV community. Life after 50 should be an adventure. You're not slowing down, you're just getting started. The RV lifestyle community is where RVers over 50 come together to share experiences, trade tips, and live life on purpose. It's a private, totally ad-free online community that also has really fun in-person rallies and meetups, all aimed at helping empty nesters and retirees find new adventures, real friends, and everything you need to make RV life fulfilling.
You know, if you watch all the marketing, it looks like the whole RV lifestyle is for 20 and 30-year-olds who stand around on the top of their RVs and do yoga poses. And that's not what the RV community is really like. Most of them are our age, many older. Since we started this community, personally, we have made so many new friends. In fact, we're camping right now with a bunch of them on this tour of the Mississippi River that we'll be spending all month doing. Now, we're not trying to tell you anything. We're inviting you to become part of something that we think is truly amazing. In this community, you're going to find RVers like yourself. We believe that life's best chapter starts at 50. And yes, RVcommunity.com does have a paywall. And that's to keep spammers and scammers out. Plans start for less than a cup of coffee a month, so it's not much. And look, some things like True Connection are worth paying for. So that's all I'm going to say about it right now. Just go check it out. See if it's for you. You can just, there's no obligation. Just go to rvcommunity.com and read about it and see if that's something you think that would work into your lifestyle.
Now it's time for the RV news of the week. And our first story, a camper who got up in the middle of the night to use a bathroom was found dead after she mistakenly fell off a cliff in the dark.
The 29-year-old woman was camping with her friends on the Mogollon Rim near Forest Lakes in Arizona, and this was over Labor Day weekend. Somehow she got turned around in the dark, and this cliff that she fell off was 120 feet. Obviously, she did not survive that, but that has got to be the most frightening thing. You get up in the middle of the night and she never came back. So, I guess if there's a lesson, be very aware of where you're going, and particularly if you have to get out of the night, always carry a flashlight. Just our hearts out to that family. What a tragedy.
Now, turning our attention to California.
More than 97% of the employees at Yosemite, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon National Parks have voted to unionize. the results were recently certified. 600 employees, and they work all sorts of different jobs there: interpretive park rangers, biologists, firefighters, fee collectors. Well, they're now represented by the National Federation of Federal Employees. Now, you may recall we've been covering this story, seems like all year now, but the Park Service lost about 25% of its workforce this year. Next year, it's going to be even worse for these folks because they're facing a proposed $1 billion in additional cuts in 2026. So it's going to have a big effect on their work environment. It's going to cause those employees to want representation in California, and who knows whether that will be spreading to the rest of the country.
Zion National Park's Weeping Rocks Trail opened over the weekend after being closed since November 2023 because of rock slides. The Weeping Rock Trail is one of the most iconic landmarks in the park, known for its lush hanging gardens, and can be found at Shuttle Stop number 7.
That's a popular one. Everybody's like, let's go to Shuttle Stop 7. Well, it's back open, closed almost 3 years. Here's a story that you got to wonder, what's behind this? Employees at Camping World in Escanaba, Michigan, were blindsided last week when they were told the dealership, the service center, and the retail store were closing immediately. And what's really sad is many of those employees were expecting good news. They thought it was going to be a good week for them.
Because of the unexpected arrival of a corporate representative after strong sales.
They'd had a great summer season. And they figured, well, they're coming up to give us a pat on the back. Instead, they gave them pink slips. Then we were told it was their last day. Now, this Camping World location up in Escanaba in the UP was formerly known as Hilltop RV, and it was a locally owned, independent mom and dad RV dealership. Just the kind that Camping World has been going around the country buying and putting into their huge corporation. Well, now there is no RV dealership up there, so no idea what happened. We're told that there were a lot of folks who had RVs in that facility for repair, and that Camping World has sent up temporarily employees from other locations around the country to kind of get those repairs done before they permanently shutter the place. Employees are baffled. They said they had good sales this summer, so that's all we know. But that's unusual because usually we're reporting on Camping World buying up another independent dealer. This one they bought up, and then 4 years later they shut it down.
Now, Texans are getting a new state park. The governor announced last week that the state purchased 1,720 acres, less than a mile from Garner State Park, one of the most popular sites in the state, to create the new Bear Creek State Park. The park will include access to Frio River, streams, canyons, and hiking trails. No opening date is set yet, and it is not clear yet if the Hill Country location will have a campground.
Yeah, it's very close to another campground there, but that Hill Country is beautiful. We'll be holding a rally there for our RV community real soon. So, all right, if you got comments or questions or want more information, because we put links into all these stories that we just shared with you, go to rvlifestyle.com/podcast. And if you want us to hear your thoughts about something or you have a question for us, our personal email is mikeandjen@rvlifestyle.com.
Now it's time for the RV Conversation of the Week. And this week's Conversation of the Week is on tariffs. They are sure causing a lot of confusion in politics, commerce, and manufacturing. And the RV industry is in the thick of it.
In fact, the RV Industry Association, the RVIA, is as confused as everybody else is. Constantly changing policies from the administration, complicated by court rulings, literally has everybody scratching their heads. What's a tariff? What isn't the tariff? Is it still in effect? At what percentage? Most recently, it got even more confusing. A federal appeals court ruled that the majority of all these new tariffs we've been hearing about are not legal, that the president may have overstepped his authority in using something called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose these tariffs. And that's a power that court said is reserved for Congress. But this ruling doesn't mean the tariffs are being removed, at least at this time. The court has allowed them to remain in effect until October 14th, which then gives the administration time to appeal the decision to the Supreme Court, something they said they will be doing. And the ruling does not affect other tariffs, such as those on steel and aluminum, which were imposed under different laws.
Then there's this on Friday, the official end of the de minimis exemption took effect, which had previously allowed shipments valued at $800 or less to enter the country duty-free. The Trump administration has suspended this exemption, citing its use by criminals to smuggle drugs and by foreign companies to evade tariffs. So, what this means is that all commercial imports, regardless of value, are now subject to applicable duties and more rigorous custom checks.
You see how complicated and confusing all this is? So the question we have is, what does all this mean to RV owners and to RV buyers? How's this affecting pricing on RVs and RV parts? And to help us with answering these questions, we turn to our friend Nick Schmidt of Sunshine State RVs in Gainesville, Florida. Now, Nick has been on the program many times before. He's a very straight shooter. He's never shied away from telling us what's really happening. So we asked Nick to sort through the fog and let us know what effect tariffs are having on RV dealers and customers. It's our conversation of the week. Well, to help us sort through and find out just what effect these tariffs are having on RV dealers, RV sales, RV repairs, I don't know of anybody better to talk to than my friend Nick Schmidt from Sunshine State RVs in Gainesville, Florida. Nick, always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me on. When I saw your name on my caller ID today, I was like, oh, this is a great name to see on my phone.
Well,
and so glad to catch up with you and be on your show.
It is. So we're cutting to the chase here. What's happening with these tariffs in terms of, well, let's start with some of the Class Bs, which you specialize in.
Yes.
But three of the big brands are Canadian brands: Road Trek, Pleasureway, Leisure Travel Vans, Triple E. All of the Canadian RVs are going to be subject to this tariff, aren't they?
They are, yes. And we are starting to see it more on parts right now than we are on the RV cost side of the chassis. If we order a $100 part from Road Trek, we are seeing a $100 tariff and we're seeing a shipping cost. So part costs are starting to double. Very noble thing that a couple of our manufacturers have done because prices have increased so much in the last 5 years. We all know that of RVs, that they're like, the market just can't sustain more increase in price. And so they are absorbing the cost of the tariff. Whatever the tariff costs, Road Trek said, we're not going to pass that on to the customer on the RV side of it, but they are on the parts. Same with Midwest Vans. So funny enough, Midwest Automotive Designs, they're based out of Indiana. All their RVs are made in Indiana, but they get their chassis from Germany. They have a direct pipeline from Germany. So Germany was at a 25% tariff for a while, and through the first 3 or 4 months of the year. And so now they're down to 15% tariff, but Midwest has not raised any of their prices. They just said, you know what? We're going to cut back. We're going to slim down, and we are not passing these costs onto our end users. We're going to absorb it right now while we can, and then hopefully things kind of adjust when they do. And they're finding other places to buy their chassis. Midwest is not getting them from Germany anymore. They're now trying to get them here in the U.S.
Well, I've talked to some of the Canadian manufacturers. I haven't talked to Road Trek, so I'm glad to hear that they're going to try and absorb as much as they can.
They are.
I believe Leisure Travel Vans and I believe Pleasureway are both trying to minimize, if not completely absorb that increase. But it's got to have an effect for these Class B manufacturers. Three, really well-known quality brands. That's got to hurt them in the long run in terms of sales.
It does, and it is for us. The one out of those three that we really represent is Road Trek, and everybody asks about it. So if people are asking, other people just aren't asking. They're just assuming the prices have gone up. So everyone that calls and asks about a Road Trek, they're all asking, hey, does this price include the tariff? Do I have to pay the tariff after I buy it? Is there going to be some surprise tariff that I have to pay in 6 months? All the uncertainty, and Mike, uncertainty is not good for business, right? I mean, It's not good for customer confidence. It's not good for business. So for everyone, I've always learned for every one person that asks, there's three people that are not asking, that are just assuming the answer. So people that are uncertain, they're not sure, they might be sitting out or moving on to another manufacturer and not buying because they don't know what's going to happen with the tariffs.
Now we have seen a couple of announcements. Wingham, which is making a lot of noise
Yes.
in the U.S. with finally this Italian-made small Class B
Yep.
is coming in. But what are they doing with the tariff?
So actually, funny enough, I'm on their email list. They're tacking $9,500 to every single unit that enters the U.S. Every single unit they're tacking $9,500 US dollars to, which is a lot. They're already at 200,000 plus RV. To attack another almost $10,000 is a lot of money. So there again, let's see if the markets can withstand it or not, or if people are going to switch to an American-made RV that doesn't have any tariffs, that isn't imported from another country.
Now, the parts is an angle that I don't think most people have realized is how many parts, even from American manufacturers, are coming from China and other countries.
Yeah.
You mentioned road track, and $100 part has now got an extra $100 on it with the tariff charge. What about other parts are you seeing? Are you seeing this in some of the parts suppliers in the U.S. that get their raw supplies from overseas? I can't imagine trying to sort through all this stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy. When we order parts, we get the cost of the part, we get the shipping, the handling, and then if there's a tariff on it. And we never know what it's going to be. 6 months ago, the price was X. Now it's X plus a tariff. And so we have to pass that on to the customer. Obviously, we're not absorbing tariffs. It's not something that is part of our business model. But there are a lot of the manufacturers. I mean, the Canadian ones specifically, if they're shipping something over the border, there's 100%. And anyone that's getting chassis from other countries, there is a tariff increase on that chassis itself, not on the whole build, but just on the chassis itself. So parts are going to be an issue, getting those very, very specific road trek parts. As you know, Mike, a lot of parts you can source from other places. You don't have to go back to the manufacturer to get it. But the ones that you have to get, a cabinet door, for instance, a very specific pop top, from like a Road Trek pop top, or like, very specific parts that Road Trek makes, they're going to be 100% markup. And so they're going to be the price plus of the tariff. Funny story, we needed some hinges for a cabinet. They're $36 plus the $36 tariff plus the $25 shipping. But they're like $100+ for a little hinge.
Or something
like,
that would cost $36. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think of Mercedes and the Sprinter. Now, Mercedes built a factory in the U.S., but most of those Sprinter chassis that RVs are being built on, Class Bs, are still coming from Germany, are they not?
They are. So Midwest, one of the things Midwest did a couple of years ago was negotiate a better deal with Mercedes. So they were able to buy directly from Germany, from the factory. And by doing that, they're able to get better options. They're able to get better vans, better pricing, all that. But for those few years that they did, now that's kind of, I don't want to say backfiring on them, because they had the best chassis for a few years. But now with the tariffs, they're having to kind of realign that and get them from South Carolina, from the factory in South Carolina versus the factory in Germany. So they had a free trade zone is where they were getting them from, in Germany. And now this year they've had to change it and start buying them from South Carolina to avoid the 15 to 25% tariff.
So one of the problems with the South Carolina Mercedes factory, as I understand, has been that while they're making the Sprinter chassis there, most of those are going to like Amazon and for delivery vans. And so it's harder. It's easier for an RV manufacturer to order from Germany, or it had been up until the tariffs. Is that generally correct?
That is correct. My wife is very thankful that Amazon has a lot of vans they can deliver every day when she orders. But it is not great for the RV industry. So yes, so Amazon is hogging all of those Mercedes in South Carolina. But now they're seeing there's more of a demand, so maybe they are pumping up production, because all these manufacturers in the U.S. have to buy from the U.S. in order to avoid the tariffs.
So summarizing, the parts are taking the biggest hit right now. There's not
Yes.
much to get
To
around it.
the end customer, the parts you're taking
Yeah.
in. Unless Wingham added 10 grand to their chassis, to their build. But Road Trek, Midwest, a lot of the manufacturers that we deal with, they're not passing it on the RV cost, just on the parts cost.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And is there any hope? Are you hearing, because you talk with these guys all the time, that this trade war between the U.S. and Canada and these ridiculous tariffs and the back and forth, is there hope that's going to go away? Do they see that, or do they think we're in this for the long haul?
So I will say that they are happy when there's a reprieve, because they sell a lot in that week, and then when it comes back, they're not quite as happy. I will say, sitting here in the U.S., it put it this way, it definitely affects them more than it affects us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's the point of it, to help us and to bring the production back here to the United States. And so it's working. It seems like it's just gonna be a little painful, and until it kind of works its way through and everybody figures out new manufacturers. Like I said, Midwest is not buying from Germany anymore. They're now buying from South Carolina. So that that is creating more jobs here in the U.S. And it is, more people that want to, more people want to follow that suit, I feel like.
So you got to walk a kind of a delicate line here. I'm sorry for you guys, and we get well, just wrapping up again. You're getting ready for the Tampa RV show, which I know you guys are really big. You probably have 14 different displays there, as you usually do.
Definitely feels that way. Yes.
Going into Tampa, how in general is the RV industry doing? Are you seeing any hot new trends that we should be looking for?
Yeah. So as these chassis get better, and the more things are all-wheel drive, and there are more safety features, almost more people are getting comfortable, going down from their big RVs down to their small RVs or out of their travel trailers. And we're just seeing a big increase in the Class B market. Every month this year so far, we are up from last month. Selling more vans all over the country the technology in the vans, the comfort, the luxury in the Class B market is just getting better every year. So people are very grateful of that. They've been wanting a better Class B, and now I think they're getting what they're wanting. It's just as comfortable as a car you drive every day, and you can sleep in it, and you can travel in it and do everything. So it's pretty cool. The Class B industry is very fun.
Well, we love doing those Class B reviews, and we've been doing them now every spring with you. So we'll see you again this spring and catch some of the new stuff.
There you go.
Thanks, Nick, for giving us a straight talk on tariffs. Appreciate it, as always.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Nick. We will keep watching and see what these court cases do and how this is going to affect RV dealers. But you can bet it's a talk of the Hershey RV show, which is going on right now in Hershey, Pennsylvania, because some of the overseas manufacturers are charging those tariffs. Some are absorbing them. Some are passing the cost on in other ways. Nobody quite knows what's happening. But Nick at least gave us a pretty good account of all that confusion.
That he did. And are you tired of expensive campgrounds and crowded RV parks? What if we told you there's a way to discover amazing overnight stays across the U.S. and Canada for just $49 a year?
And stay listening, because we can even save you money over that. RV Overnights connects you with incredible hosts at farms, wineries, breweries, and unique roadside attractions that welcome RVers with open arms.
These aren't just parking spots. They're experiences. Many locations offer electric and water hookups, and you can often stay for multiple days. Picture yourself waking up in a vineyard in Napa, or parking beside a working farm in Montana, or discovering that quirky roadside museum you never knew existed. These are real small business owners who genuinely love meeting fellow travelers and sharing their slice of America.
We've been using RV overnights this summer and have just been delighted with the places we've stayed, like a bison ranch, where we got up close and personal with some bison and had a beautiful bison pasture to camp in. Planning your adventure with RV overnights is incredibly easy. They have a great app and desktop, website. You search for your route, book your stays, hit the road. And here's the best part. Our listeners get an exclusive 40% off their annual membership. Just use the promo code RVLDEAL when you sign up. Don't miss out. This is a game-changing way to travel. Head to rvlifestyle.com/RV overnights right now. Remember, use that promo code RVLDEAL and save 40%.
And now it's time for the social media buzz. Wendy Boyer reports on the hot issues most talked about this past week on social media and our RV Lifestyle Community Group.
Hi, everybody. Over in our private RV lifestyle community, we had a conversation not too long ago about, of all things, s'mores. Now, this group of people in our private community are just the best RVers, friendly, fun, and we do conversations on all sorts of things. But this s'more conversation I really liked because we asked about what are your favorite ways to make s'mores, and there were so many great ideas. Now, s'mores, of course, are a campground favorite. You take a marshmallow, you roast it over a fire, you get this melted, gooey, delicious marshmallow, and you place it on a piece of milk chocolate sandwiched between graham cracker, a classic. But many say there's ways to make them even better. Some suggest replacing the milk chocolate with a peanut butter cup. Sounds really good. Others suggest making it the same, but adding a dab of caramel and some thinly sliced Granny Smith apples. That one is very intriguing to me. And then perhaps my favorite idea came from our Canadian friends who said, swap out the graham crackers, take out the milk chocolate, and replace it with raspberry chocolate butter cookies. As they said, less mess, more yum. So, great ideas there. And then over in our RV Lifestyle Facebook group, we had a post from Kent that got people talking. Kent posted, what do you do? Clean up inside the camper before leaving the campground or clean up when you return home? Do you have a preference? Now, this post was really fun to read. We had more than 600 comments. Of course, some people said they do a little bit of both, but others were very passionate about the best way to go. So in that spirit, let's hear from each side. Here are the pro campground cleaners. They say their number one reason to do it at the campground is comfort. They said it's nice to have running water in and out of the camper when you're cleaning it. The air conditioning's on, the electricity's on, it's just more comfortable for cleaning. Number two, they said there's no home option. A lot of people keep their RVs in a storage facility where they can't do a deep clean there, so they have to do it at the campground. And number three among this group is they are too tired. They do not want to get home from a long trip and then thoroughly do a deep clean of their rig. They just want to do the minimum, maybe bring out their dirty clothes, bring out the food, and be done. And among this group, I think Donna summed it up well when she said, who wants to clean when you get home? Well, according to this post, there's a lot of people who do want to clean when they get home. So let's hear it from the pro home cleaners. What do they have to say? Their number one thing is there's not enough space to bring all those cleaning supplies. You got your buckets, you got your big vacuums, you got all that stuff. Said Vanetta, I don't want to drag all those supplies with me. I keep Clorox wipes and things handy in the trailer, but not full-on cleaning supplies. So number two, this group feels leaving is enough. When you're trying to get out of a campsite after being there for a while, the last thing they want to do is the pressure of a deep clean of their rig. It's just too much. And number three among this group is, this is vacation. Many do not want to spend their vacation time doing deep cleans, said Melissa. I can't imagine giving up that much camp time to clean. RV life should be easy peasy. Do your grunt work at home on your time at your leisure. Don't waste one extra minute of your R&R time than you have to. So there you go. The pros and the cons. Which one are you? And that's it for me this week. I'm Wendy Boyer, and I'll see you either in our private RV lifestyle community or our Facebook group.
You've heard Wendy talk about our RV community and how helpful it truly is to our members. If you ever wished there was a place where you didn't feel behind or out of the loop, this is that place, and we again urge you to at least check it out. Go to our rvcommunity.com for information on how it works. We promise there's no drama, no distractions, no pressure, just the support, friendship, and confidence you've been looking for. Let this be where your best chapter begins. Again, that's rvcommunity.com.
Have you ever thought of having your own RV land? Land that you can camp on whenever you want without having to get reservations, or you can camp as long as you want, not having to leave after 2 or 3 days or 2 weeks. Well, it's hard to find property like that, particularly if you're looking for multi-acreage property with some breathing room around you in a nice and popular area with lots of things to do. We know of 2 states where RV developments like that are underway. One of them is in Arizona and the other in Tennessee. Rocky Lake is one of the most visited sites in Tennessee. It's one of the biggest lakes east of the Mississippi and a great vacation spot, perfect for RVers. Tennessee Land and Lakes is launching a grand opening of new property at the lake. They're big properties that allow for RVs near Paris Landing State Park, right near the marina, golf courses, resorts, and a slew of other great attractions. It's one of the most popular parts of the lake where it's at its widest and a really beautiful spot. There are large acreage, 5 to 29 acre sites in size, designed for privacy at great prices for the area with dedicated private access to Kentucky Lake. It's an ideal setup for RVers. Prices start at $99,900, and they've got woods and fields and views, cottages, and more with electric and high-speed internet. You can get details and a video tour at rvlands.net. Visit rvlands.net to get started. It's pretty incredible. One of the most exciting developments for RVs is happening out west in Arizona. Western Land and Ranches is selling 5-acre high-elevation ranches just off the famous Route 66, the birthplace of the American road trip. And these are beautiful, secluded tracts of land surrounded by majestic mountain ranges with sweeping valley views. The high elevation is a unique microclimate as well, giving you cooler temperatures, green grasses, and tree cover, making it unique for desert property. The community is in the center of it all, close to the best of the West: Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, the Colorado River, Flagstaff, Sedona, and historic Williams. If you're tired of crowded RV parks and paying high fees for sites, well, ownership might be right for you. This incredible collection of mountaintop properties called Greenwood Ranches hit the market, and it's selling out fast. There is no HOA. You can build a house, a cabin, outbuildings, or just RV. It's your property, your way, 100% ownership. Visit the website to get details and set up a showing, arizonarvland.net. That's arizonarvland.net.
Now it's time for the RV question of the week. And the question this week is from Jan. What does everyone do about mail when going south for winter?
Well, it's a good question, and it's a question that comes up a lot this time of year as snowbirds like you are heading south. And there are several ways. Probably the most common way for long-term campers, people are going to be gone for a long period of time, or full-timers, is to use a mail forwarding service. And basically, you sign up for these services. They give you a physical street address, not just a post office box. And you have your mail sent there. And then they'll forward it to you, every so many days, whatever you want, on demand. Some of them will even scan the envelopes and send you an image so you can decide, well, toss that one, or forward that one, or just shred that one. There's lots of different operations out there. We'll share some of them, and you can get the direct links in the show notes for this episode. But the Harvest Host and Escapees RV Club mail forwarding service is a very popular one. We've actually used that ourselves in the past. Good Sam has a mail service, does that. And then there's an operation known as Traveling Mailbox. There's also the United States Postal Service, and they have a service called Hold or Forward. That's a pretty good service. We've used that too.
Mm-hmm. If you're gone only a few weeks or months, you can use the USPS Premium Forwarding Service. They'll bundle up your mail and send it weekly to wherever you're staying. For longer trips, some RVers change their address to a relative or trusted friend who can manage forwarding.
Yeah, this digital scanning is really cool. Anytime Mailbox is another operation that does that. So is iPostal One. They give you this virtual mailbox, and you can just log in at any time online, see what mail came in that day. You see an image of the envelope, and if you want it, they'll forward it without opening it. You can ask them to open it and send you a picture of the contents. Or if it's junk mail, it seems to be all we get these days, they just will shred it. You don't even have to touch the paper.
Now there's friends or family. Friends or family, maybe both. They can be family and friends. Some RVers keep it simple, having mail sent to a trusted family member's home.
Or have them, in our case, we have our son who lives nearby, go over and just take our mail and put it in the house every day.
That person sorts it and either forwards important items or saves everything until you return.
Now, we got to admit, we don't get much mail anymore. Every now and then we'll get something that's worth seeing, but most of the time it's just junk. And that's because we've chosen to go paperless every time we get an opportunity. So we switched our bills and our statements to online delivery, and that reduces the volume of mail that needs to be forwarded in the first place. And just being able to pay online and handle all of that is so much easier. Most of the services will give you a little email note or send you a text to say, hey, your payment's due, or it's time to make a payment, or here's your balance. So you can get reminded by email. That's, again, if you're online. Some of you are not. So you can try one of those other options. But those are the main options everybody does. I think the best of them all right now is the USPS, the United States Postal Service. They will forward everything that you need. You just have to send them a little bit of money ahead of time, and I think they bill you quarterly or something like that. We'll put links to all of those in the show notes that you can find at rvlifestyle.com/podcast. All right, we are Mike and Jen. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast, and follow along. We'll be sharing on YouTube, and we'll be sharing in the RV Lifestyle community our travels with our friends here at Fantasy RV as we head south following the Mississippi River, ending up next month sometime near the Gulf of Mexico.
Happy trails!